Well, today was a success in terms of talking to more people in terms of expansion. And this time I woke up just in time for morning period and right on time. So this day is going to be an entire completed sequence, unlike some other days before, with a little bit more side events. So in the morning, I hesitated between talking to different types of people. I hesitated in the library, like at the school, but I managed to push for interactions anyway and talk to a club leader that I apparently heard from others about a few months ago. Credits to you if you're watching. I'll talk to you when I can. But the thing is that before it happened, I did hesitate while walking outside before because I was very picky in choosing who to interact with. Like talkative groups are great, but the thing is my voice might get drowned out. So I was just curious on who. So eventually I just chose a random person. And it was eventually you. So gotta see if you're watching. Again, as I said, I'll get to you when I can. And first period, I successfully turned in an assignment for Spanish. The teacher said 200 words yesterday, but in reality, it was only 100 correct words on the assignment instructions on the conjugue. And it was all about reflexive verbs. So in Spanish, I'm going to say this one. El ejemplo es mi amigo y yo levantarse. Para el revisión or el oración traduce a mi amigo y yo nos levantamos. And for my English speakers, my friend and I get up. Then at the end, I did apologize to the teacher since he was a substitute. I asked him since I didn't want to get in trouble for misinterpretation. I did not ask him earlier if I could do work after we're done. I forgot to do so, and I did apologize right as we left. So, I mean, he dismissed it, but eventually said that he'd always allow working on another stuff while you're done. So, second period, I played badminton with a bunch of other people. This time, I don't talk to him as often. I couldn't stop laughing is one issue that I had while playing badminton because, well, even though it did nonetheless go well, is that when you think you're going to win versus when you think you're going to lose, when you know the puck keeps going everywhere, sometimes you can't control that laughter. But eventually, I was able to control the laughter. The thing is that the teacher many times told me to stop hitting the racket on the floor because I tried not to. It ended up becoming because the same reflexes that I get from playing sports such as volleyball or tennis before and other modified games of it, those same reflexes just kept on coming. Like you want to catch what's being played with, you want to catch the balls, you want to catch the volleyball, you want to catch the puck, you want to catch shuttlecock. The thing is that even though I tried to stop myself, I just kept on hitting the floor. Eventually, the teacher let it go, and then at the end of the class, we just let things go. The teacher told me that he told me like 3 times to stop hitting a racket on the floor, but eventually, I managed to stop. And so, third period, we did more stuff on heat convection, primarily in water boiling and convection cells. So, what I learned to simplify this is that water near the bottom of a boiling pot becomes less dense. It then is pushed out by denser water. It goes up, then it becomes more dense again, but is pushed by less dense water and is pushed back down. It's just a convective cycle. I might have said some things wrong there, but that's what we learned today. I finished up a lab on it later during a library visit, like about right after dismissal at school. I'll talk about that later on. Now, fourth period, we continued on Gandhi's revolution and how a Hindu radical unalived him due to him wanting India to be separated from Pakistan, but Gandhi did not want that at all. So we learned also about that through another video movie that we also had to answer questions on. So we finished up a Padlet.com assignment about it, and it took most of my time during class. I wasn't able to finish the book search assignment, but I'll try to get to that tomorrow. So lunch period, credit to the friend group that I talked to. I'm not going to air out every single conversation because everybody has their own private and intimate details, me included also. But one parallel that's mostly that you guys had a situation. I'd strip it of its context. I am not going to reveal why. Where someone spilled laundry detergent on the floor, and you had to save the laundry detergent by using the dirty clothes and then putting it in the washer, hoping that detergent can fix. I experienced a similar experience before to everyone else watching. Detergent fell. I had to physically scoop it up with my dirty clothes, hoping to save what's left, and then hope that once it washes, it does get clean. Obviously, I did not mop it. I think someone else mopped it. I don't remember. This was a little bit long ago, but I mean, it's a universal experience. Again, contexts differ. Not too much else occurred. I'm not going to air out every conversation due to privacy reasons. Then that's really it for this one. So fifth period, I again bet on the teacher income. I bet to her that $2 that the boys who come late will come late. And I set a bet for that even though the teacher told me that I already lost 2 days ago. Then it was funny because they came late this time and a bunch of other girls did. So the teacher complained to them, quote unquote, why are you so late? Now I owe someone in this class $2. Someone tried to say that they bet it, but it was low Kirken with me who did it, not them. Now the teacher did try to indirectly say someone was doing it, but didn't say it was directly me. So other than that, it was funny. We ended up finishing the Shrek movie, and we have to finish up an archetypes assignment about it tomorrow. So sixth period math quiz, we had to factor, square, and find solutions to parabolas. I know my skills, so it was simple this time. I checked it multiple times since I did face with issues with how to factor them. And just to make sure it's the same parabola, I plugged in x as an 88th value and checked to see if they both, in factor form and standard form, produce the same y output. And they did for many of the problems. Since some were in different form, I just checked if the solutions matched. And sadly enough, this type of teacher assigns weekend homework and uses shields unlike other teachers I've had. So that's going to be kind of annoying. But then again, I did know how to use parabolas and how to calculate them. The only issue is that later on, once we learn about more complex functions, that weekend homework really comes in as a buzz. So thinking of it that way. So right before I left for dismissal after sixth period, I talked to a senior girl. We hit off regular everyday conversation like how's your day, what's happening, like. But the thing is that I feel like psychologically I'm taking too much of an interviewer position more than a balanced conversation. So I'm beginning to share a little bit more of myself in conversations here and there. I think this also applies to a few others, but nonetheless, it went well. Credits to her if you're watching this in the far future. As I got picked up, I got McDonald's, and as you guys know, I do love to replace their bread buns with whole grain buns. I mean, I still do so for these types of buns because I think the burger bun that they have, it's for me. I don't really like the texture. It's soft and it's way less healthier. I know fast food is unhealthy. I still replaced it because whole grain burgers still offer much more fiber and nutrients. If you guys are wondering, it's just 100% whole grain burgers. You can find them at Stater Brothers, but it does depend on the location. Even then, a simple loaf of 100% whole grain bread will do if you do want to become like me and replace your standard fast food bread. And they offer much more fiber. I know fast food is still unhealthy, but I still try to make it healthy anyway and remove sauces. Ketchup and mustard is acceptable, but I don't really like mayo. I don't really like things too. Later on, I biked myself to the library. As you guys know, I've been setting myself up for random interactions, and even though I have hesitated quite a few times before, I'll be honest. This time I went. I made it. I tried to look for interesting books that I liked, but I didn't really look around enough, to be honest. There were many books that I could have used, and a lot of people I could have talked to. I decided to interact this time with people who have grown books. Within third and first person, obviously, credits to the people who I was talking to the library. If you guys are watching this right now, within the moments that my mind said, like, go interact with them, my hesitancy time all the way from this morning and times before, it just came back once again. As I was scrolling through books, again, looking, one side was making me hesitate. The other was making me go forward regardless, like, set up the interaction, keep on going, overcome the fear. The thing, I hesitated because it was an active and indirect resistance against fear. A lot of people my age still don't like to interact with new people, and I understand that. But for me, I'm doing something very specific by resisting against that completely. And I wanted to interact, fear pushed back, but eventually I pushed forward after 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I stopped looking for books since I didn't find one that was interesting for me, and eventually I interacted with you guys. Again, credits if you guys are watching this. I don't air out conversations, so I'll omit certain details. So, went well. I finished up a science lab while you guys were also working. And for other people curious from earlier, yes, there were internet issues with the science lab. It just failed to load multiple times. So, for the people in the library, I didn't want to bother you guys, but I did blow a few questions here and there about you. And it went well. I finished up my assignment, and eventually you guys have to speak as well. The library was going to close anyway. Credits if you guys are watching again for the third time this time. Right here definitely marks the first time that I've interacted without family, no school cover, no peers protection. It's kind of like a test, another field test of my character, and this time I did well. So that means symbolically, it's one of the first times that I've interacted with people outside of my local high school, outside of my local family group, and this was all done by me and also by them too. First thing that I do is that I'm actually gonna name names for once. I rarely do this for privacy reasons of people. So apparently, one of you guys that I met at the library know another mutual of a mutual that I know whose name's Kylie. Apparently, from your middle school, you guys were once at. As for Kylie, if you somehow stumble upon this reel or YouTube video, it's more of a footnote than it is a highlight. The mutual of a mutual is a friend. So thinking of it like that, do what you wish with this information. I mean, if you do want to know what happened, I'm just gonna leave it as that. I might end up using filler words at this point. So later on, after the library closed, I decided to bike to a shopping store. And again, typical hesitation. I hesitated between getting yogurt and protein bars and chips, or just pork meat and whole grain bread. For a while, I kind of decided between both of these binaries, but eventually I just chose pork meat and whole grain bread because I'm already out of whole grain bread. It's another one of the friends that I meet at lunch. You guys know I do bike, and it does take a little bit of endurance. Going uphill was crazy, but going downhill was much more easier, especially with the fact that a time before, one of my bike chain rings ended up destabilizing as I used a shopping bag, one of my old reels, about less than a week ago. But eventually, despite the difficulty in biking, this chain ring of my bike this time did not break at all. So I was eventually able to bike back within a fast and quick time. And that's it for this day, and we reached up to this moment. Thanks for watching, y'all. I hope you guys enjoy this mini sequence of today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.